Hey guys, it's Kelsey. I'm back with another scrapbooking process video. Today we have another double page layout. So I have four 4x6s here from our Riverboat tour in Savannah. I mentioned in an earlier video when we were doing the trolley tour how much the boys just love things that have to do with transportation. So riding on the trolley was a big deal. And then day two in Savannah, we decided to do a trolley, or not a trolley tour, riverboat tour so they could get a different kind of experience, and that was a lot of fun. They really enjoyed it. So I just have four pictures here, and I just wanted to do another double. So I'm primarily using scraps. I'm not cutting into any more 12 by 12s from the Simple Stories collection. I will pull in a supplement 12 by 12 from my Die Cuts with a View paper pad. But I really just wanted to pick a couple things to focus on with this double. I really wanted to get some more of this kind of cut apart sheet used up. I've loved using it in strips this month. I think it can be a really busy paper, but I love the impact of using multiple of these images. So using it in a strip, I think, is a perfect way to use it. So I'm just going to have that strip running along both pages. And then I wanted a paper that I knew was going to stand up to the dark red paper that I'm wanting to pull in from the paper pad. And it had a scrap of this light green succulent paper, so I thought that would be perfect. I just wanted a couple textured edges going on with some of these layers because otherwise it would read too flat. So I am just cutting a notebook edge punch into this green, and that's going to run along the top of that strip. And then I wanted to pull in more of that multicolored stripe that I've been using in little strips throughout the month. I'm going to do a very similar thing where I'm just taking a couple strips of this. I'm going to distress the top edge of it and layer that between the cut apart strip and the notebook edge punch. And I just think that helps pull all of the color in from the cut apart sheet into the rest of the page. So I'm trying to make sure there's a decent amount of interest along the bottom. Because I'm pretty much going to have the red paper be most of the top, and then I'm just going to do a couple spots of embellishment. So that's the plan. I'm just using my Tim Holtz distress tool to distress this little rainbow stripe before I stick it down. There's one more photo, I don't know where it went, that I was planning on documenting, and I realized when I finished this page that it wasn't one of the pictures, so I don't know if I'll go back and add it or not. But I had a couple pictures of Bennett and Avery because they were just looking super cute. And then I have a selfie of me drinking my little strawberry daiquiri. And then Bennett wanted to take some pictures as well. So I'm also including a picture he took of me where I'm sticking my tongue out at him just because I thought it was a funny moment. And I think it's funny that he took that picture of me. So I just wanted to get all of that documented. I've kind of pieced together all of that first page, so I'm going to take a moment to piece together pretty much the same stuff on the second page, just trying to make sure I'm lining everything up and everything is the same proportion, because obviously these pages are going next to each other and I want everything to line up. So I'm just going to take a minute to get that stuff down. I already know the red paper I want to fill in the rest of this page. There's not going to be enough of it. So I am going to pull in a little bit of the aqua cloud paper scraps from this collection to fill the gap. I could have just cut into both of the same red paper that I have, but I really don't want to use both of them for one project. So I'm just using one, and that's just my way around it. I think I've done 3 doubles so far this month, and I'm just trying to make sure each one is kind of a different style. With double pages, oftentimes I get stuck in the same type of design. So I'm really trying with the 3 that I have done so far, at least, really kind of making them look different, but still me, if that makes sense. So now I have all of those pieces together. I'm just going to figure out where I want my pictures. I decided I would just tuck them into the notebook edge punch. I think that's a nice detail. I like seeing that texture overlapping the photos, and now I just need to fill in the rest of my 12 by 12. So I don't know if I go in with my blue scraps first or if I go in with the 12 by 12 I end up pulling. But what I love about incorporating that kind of multicolored stripe in this page is I can really pick any papers I want, which is nice. But I definitely thought with the darker red that I'm going to end up pulling in, the aqua would pop really well, so I decided to use that. And I wanted some blue. This is a riverboat tour, so I have the blue of the water, the sky. Avery's wearing a blue shirt, so I did want some blue in the papers, even though it's in the multicolored ones already. So I'm just trying to piece down. I think I accidentally glued that in the wrong spot, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get the photos glued down so I know for sure where I need to kind of use the paper. And I'm going to be gutting what I can, of course, because we're getting down in my Simple Stories kit. And even though I have plenty of my die cuts with a view paper pad to use, I love the Simple Stories part of my kit for this quarter. And so I'm really trying to make it stretch. But here you can see I just cut that 12 by 12 into 2 pieces. So each of those pieces are 6 inches, which isn't quite enough to reach the bottom there. But now you can see here I am going to use that scrap of aqua to fill in that gap. So I'm just going to get the aqua down really quick. I'm not sure how much of the red I want to show. I'm thinking I just want a sliver of that blue. But I end up just gluing down what I have of this scrap just to give me some leeway with the proportions. So I'm just sticking this scrap in, and I'm going to take that piece I just cut off and glue it onto the other side. And again, just making sure they're the same, they're layered at the same height, since I want this double to read as one big layout. So I got that down. That cloud print wasn't quite wide enough to fill in the gap on the left-hand page, but I already knew I wanted some embellishment there, so I wasn't too worried because I knew it would get covered. A couple things from the sticker sheet I knew I wanted to use. There is like a cruise ship, and even though we're on a riverboat, not a cruise ship, it's a boat and it's on theme for me, so I'm gonna get that used up. There's also a maroon ticket that says good for one amazing vacation, and it's that same kind of dark red that I pulled in as the rest of the background, so I really thought it'd be nice to pull that into my ephemera. So those are the 2 things I know for sure I'm going to layer up to fill that gap. But before I kind of I'm getting ahead of myself before I get to the embellishment. I just want to glue the rest of the background together. That's really the main part of this design, is just getting all of these scraps pieced together to form my background. So it just takes me a minute to get all of that lined up. I definitely know I want to use at least one tag because there's a bunch of tags that come in this collection. And I definitely want to use the boat. So that's the plan so far. I think I'm almost done. I just got to piece together this scrap on the second page and then figure out what I'm doing after that. But I really wanted on this one to get a decent amount of stickers used up because I do only have, I think, 3 more 12 by 12s from the Here and Now collection. I feel like I still have a ton of ephemera, which is fine because it'll roll over to my die cuts with a view paper pad once I get through these. But I wanted to get the stuff that was kind of on theme for this trip used. So I thought about using that little taupey frame, but once I got the ticket and the cruise ship down, I really didn't need it. I did back that cruise ship on some scraps of paper just to give it some slight dimension. I didn't want the full amount of dimension that my foam dots create, so I just backed in a couple scraps of paper to give it a little bit of dimension. But I love how that looks layered there on the left. I'm thinking I want to do a cluster kind of on the opposite side of the photos in the same spot on the second page. So to create a visual triangle, since I know I want to embellish in those 2 spots, I feel like I need one more cluster somewhere at the top in the middle. So that's my embellishment plan. I'm going through the embellishment now to figure out what I want to use. There are a couple stacks of luggage in that same maroon and aqua color of the papers I'm pulling in so far, so I think that would be a good base for a cluster on the right. So I'm playing around with that little stack of luggage, but I feel like visually that balances really well the cruise ship and the ticket on the left. And then there's this little around the world travel booklet sticker that I thought would be cool. We're still in Georgia for this vacation. We just went to Savannah, but it's the first time the boys are really getting to go on a vacation like this. They have been to Minnesota a time or two to visit family, but this is the first kind of adventure vacation, if you will, where we got to do a bunch of really cool stuff and experience new things that I just wanted to really document that part of the adventure through the ephemera. So I am going to get this letterboard title from the sticker sheet used up. It says Journey. And then to kind of create a visual triangle with that aqua cloud paper, I have the scraps on either side where my embellishment clusters are, but I wanted to also pull that into my third area. So I am using the aqua cloud tag next to the Journey title. And then there's just this little chipboard piece. I'm pretty sure that's from Felicity Jane Amanda collection, but it's just a gray scenic view piece that I thought looked really nice. And then I get stuck here for a second because I know I want to add more to this right-hand cluster, but I'm just not sure if I want to tag or not. And that was the biggest thing that kind of hung me up because I wasn't sure if I would want a second tag. I did back that little around the world travel piece up on a couple pieces of paper as well, so there's a little bit of dimension. And this is where I kind of start looking at other pieces to layer. So I thought about that luggage tag, but I felt like it was too similar to the background and the suitcase that was going to be layered on top of it. So I wanted something with a bit more contrast. And I liked the idea of having that cloud tag pull in some more of that paper. So I was really looking at the other pieces of paper I had layered up. I had a second cloud tag I thought about using, but then I found this tag that has the same rainbow stripe that I pulled in along the bottom of the page, and I thought it would be nice to pull that into one of the clusters. So I ended up going with this tag instead, which just pulls more of that rainbow stripe out, which I really like. And that's going to be layered behind the luggage and the travel sticker. This was also really nice because it gave me a little spot to journal. I didn't need to say too much, but I did want to mention that we were on a riverboat cruise in case we couldn't tell exactly from the pictures. I definitely want to write the name of our boat, and I definitely want to mention that Bennett took that third photo of me because otherwise, I wouldn't have scrapped it. I only scrapped it because I think it's a funny picture Bennett took of me. So I want to make sure I remember that Bennett took it. So those are the main things I want to document. I'm going to draw in my lines and do my journaling in this navy. On the tag portion, I'm just writing the boys were so excited to go on a riverboat cruise. And then I'll just end up doodling above the picture with my tongue sticking out, an arrow pointing to the photo that says photographer, Bennett. So I like that. It's pretty subtle, but it's very legible. So it's just a detail I wanted documented, but I didn't need to grab your attention. So I kind of like how it melts into the background until you actually like see it. And then there is a little location die cut, and I just wrote Georgia Queen on it because that was the name of our boat, which I guess is a famous Savannah riverboat. I think they said it was they used it in the TV show Ozark or something. So I think that's kind of cool. Everyone at work loves Ozark, and I just can't make myself watch it. So, but I still thought it was kind of cool. And then, of course, for my finishing touch, I added some green and white twine, some aspen chipboard hearts, and my white acrylic paint with water splatter. So here are the close-ups. I have a final video for you guys of this trip that includes a couple snippets from the Riverboat cruise, so that'll be here in just a second. Thanks for watching.
And
Bye.
there's a place that I've dreamed of where I can free my mind. I hear the sounds of the season and lose all sense of time. I'm moving far away to a sunny place where it's just you and me. Feels like we're in a dream. You know what I mean. The summer air by the seaside